Pittsburgh Pile Driver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hi, everybody. It's unbelievable that we have a show, but you know what? We have one. And much to no one's surprise, it's a picks episode. But it's okay because it's a WWE picks episode, which means I'll actually be able to, have some input on a coherent scale, somewhat coherent scale maybe. Because, I keep up with WWE, not so much on AEW. Once again, not sure how I'm allowed on a wrestling podcast, but these three guys haven't kicked me off yet, so winner, ransom dinner. In any case, it's the P3. Poot the Bard will be joining us momentarily, or shortly, or not at all. It's hard to say. Who knows the ways of the Bard? Tiger Bomb Tom, though, he is here. McDumdum, I am here. And our illustrious Cruiserweight champion, the one who rules the galaxy with a benevolent fist. He is also here. It is Beef Lactus, the World Eater. Our own Beef the Legend is here. We have picks for WWE Super Power Funktown Masters Survivor Series, War Games. We have picks to do for that. We had an AEW.
Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, take your shirt off if it's not too tight, Billy. We had an AEW show. We're on a timeline tonight in case, nobody knows that. But I'm telling you now, we're on a timeline tonight. So I'm going to just tell you all this. If you want to know the standings for the Cruiserweight Open, go see the Facebook page. We'll post them there. Because we have wrestling talk to do, we have picks to do, and we're on a timeline. So
I can do them real quick. Ready? Here we go.
Don't make people go to the Facebook page.
You heard Ransom.
We need some hits. We need some likes. Do it. Go to the page.
He's overruled the tribal beef. There's not much that can be overruled on, but here we are. Hey, everybody.
I don't know that that's possible, but
yeah, man. Wrestle Talks. How about it? Also, Ransom, I don't do good at AEW pay-per-views. Did just as good as the champ on the last pick.
Here we go.
So I don't want to hear your stupid
if
face
I
talking anymore.
do just as well as you on one AEW pay-per-view over 4 years, you can't really be like, well, you really don't, like, you not know. No, man, I'm batting 4 years and 1. So no.
Exactly.
4 years and 1. All right.
I got all hopped up.
We're the one.
What?
We're the one in 21 and 1. Okay.
I'm the one in 4 years and 1. I got all hopped up on CBD gummies, and I threw together some AEW picks, and it turned out well for me. So what I did tonight was I threw back some CBD gummies. That's all, folks. And I'm going to do WWE picks. So let's see if the Rainbow Road can take me once again to the precipice of, of victory. And for those of you who have watched Agatha all along, it's down, down, down the road, down the Rainbow Road. That's right. I'm traveling the road. Suck it.
Oh, shit.
But how does that lyric end? Follow me, my friends, to glory at the end. I guess I do have a set of pipes. All right, so we're gonna pick Survivor Series.
Tell me.
Let's talk about the
noises.
matches. There were some.
Sorry, things are happening in my house, and I don't know what.
Suds kaboom.
Just Klex kaboom.
That's what it sounded like. Big boom.
So speaking of Klex kaboom,
he lives. We were just starting picks, Poot, so you made it just in time.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Not perfect.
Boom,
All right.
boom. Poot the bar.
Let's go.
Boom, boom.
Tiger
Poot
uppercut.
All right, Beef. Sound off.
Here are your matches. Listen up and listen good. Braun Breaker defends the Intercontinental title against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. LA Knight, I almost said La Knight. La Knight
Yeah.
Knight.
defends the United States title against Shinsuke Nakamura. Gunther defends the world title against Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley take on Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. And Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk take on the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tamatonga Tongaloa, and Bronson Reed. 5 matches, boys. Not too much to get into. Poot, where would you like to start tonight, buddy?
Me, because I'm de facto last because Scoob is the eternal loserweight champion. I don't know. I might be getting it. I might be getting it.
Oh,
Didn't
close.
Didn't do too well on AEW.
Nope. No, he Scoob actually outperformed you at AEW.
Wow.
So
yeah. Well,
it's a tight race for.
Hey,
would
for
you
the
like to
title.
hold on 1 second? Would you like to know when? Would you like to know the last time I watched an AEW product?
Oh God.
That's exactly right.
4 years.
That's exactly right. And I couldn't crawl into Beef's brain like I normally do. Anyway, I want to start. Well, you know what? We'll have the good boy. We'll have Tom go ahead and kick us off.
Cool.
All right, Tom. It has been said. Breaker, IC champ, defends against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. Who you got? How many points? Max of 5.
Give me Broad Breaker for 4 points. I feel pretty confident. If they haven't put the IC title on Sheamus by now, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's the only one he hasn't won, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see that happening. Braun's on a pretty hot streak, and from the one clip that I saw, did he kind of do a face turn? Am I understanding that right? Ish, yeah.
Kinda
anti-hero. Okay, yeah. I mean, that'd be interesting. It's honestly obviously when he came on the scene in NXT, he was super uber face until people got bored of him, and then they turned him heel, and that was great for him, and he needed that. I feel like this kind of anti-hero, a little bit of the crass, the tough good guy or whatever. Kind of almost like a la Randy Orton when he's a face or whatever. I feel like that's a good spot for Braun. So, I like him over the other two. I'm sorry, Ludwig Kaiser, but I don't see you holding an IC title anytime soon. So,
hard to disagree on that last point. I think that he is the next in line for the IC belt.
Really?
With good fucking reason. Oh my, yes, he's a great performer, and he's got.
Character, just character for days.
Okay. I mean,
personality for days.
He's got the moxie, the moxie for it. So absolutely.
Okay.
All right,
Beef. All right.
Will also say that I don't think that they're gonna have Sheamus win on Survivor Series.
No.
You never say never. But I feel like if he's gonna win, it's gonna be at WrestleMania, not at Survivor Series, not in some throwaway triple threat match. Plus, they've gotten fucky with the IC title as of late too. I don't see them doing this thing where they're putting it on Braun, taking it off Braun, putting it on Braun, taking it off Braun again.
Right.
I think the Braun's in for a pretty decent reign here, so I'm taking Braun. 4 points as well. Poot.
Yeah. That's what I have to say.
Good answer.
That's what I have to say. Braun, absolutely Braun for 5. Braun for 5.
Ransom?
I hearken all of your things and say Braun for 4.
Not to be confused with Big Braun Son Reed or Braun Strowman. LA Knight.
It sounded like
Nakamura.
It sounded like an operator, but like Braun Strowman. Press 1. Movie phone.
Why don't you
turn right at Strowman
you would like to hear about? LA Knight Nakamura, US title. I don't know, man. I was back and forth on this. You know what? So I haven't watched outside of a PLE. I haven't watched a WWE event in a long time.
Wow.
Football season is not a good time for WWE. And on Friday nights we watch OP live. So like I don't, SmackDown is
Yeah.
a non-starter for me. So this is tough. I'll be honest. The odds kind of influence me. Normally if there's a weird fucking odd thing happening, somebody knows something. So I'm picking Shinsuke here. And I mean, it makes sense to a point. I'm picking Shinsuke 2 points. It makes sense because I feel like LA Knight's title reign has been good, not great.
Yeah.
I think it needs a little bit of more heat, a little bit of more heat, a little bit more heat underneath it. And I think that a title change, unlike the Braun fucking Jey Uso kerfuffle, I think that an exchange between Shinsuke and LA Knight could be exactly what he needs to kind of get some fire back. So I'm taking Shinsuke 2 points. Poot?
I thought roughly the same thing as you, Beef. I thought LA Knight, because like he was poised for so much higher. By the time that they got their heads out of their asses and went, oh, yeah, this guy's popular, we should probably give him a belt. I think the IC title would have done better, but there was such a dynamite program with that at the time. I think LA Knight needs a little bit of a shakeup. I think he needs something else to shoot for, or even if they do continue the program, he does better in the chase. He does better whenever he has sympathy from the audience. So I'm going to say Shinsuke. I'm going to echo Beef's 2.
Ransom?
So Shinsuke is obviously the heel here, right?
Yeah. He's been a murder house since returning. I don't think he's had a match since he's been back. But he's been kind of a fan of the opera, like shows up in all black and just fucking cleans
Yeah.
house and leaves.
So the only thing that gives me poise here is that Shinsuke's had in the past, albeit under Vince McMahon, Shinsuke's had some fuckery matches. There's that little piece of me that goes, I wonder if Shinsuke wins, but Shinsuke wins via DQ. Or
I mean, still
LA
counts the victory though, right? Like
It does.
Well, it does, but like the more I think about it, like if Shinsuke's going to do some fuckery, like heel fuckery, he's probably going to be the one that gets disqualified.
Mm.
He still stands tall. He still, looks strong. LA Knight still looks weak. So it's not like they're burying Shinsuke there, but he doesn't get the title back, or he doesn't get the title yet. And then they continue this on, I don't know, to like the Rumble or something. I don't know. There's that little like nipping at the back of me that says like, oh, there could be fuckery. But then again, like it, even once Triple H took over, it seemed like, at least for us or for me, it seemed like it really took a while to pull the trigger on LA Knight. Like I thought it was all for a certainty. Like once Triple H took over, LA Knight was going to get skyrocketed, and it didn't happen. So I don't necessarily feel comfortable picking LA Knight here because I think, and again, I'm just trying to imagine what Triple H is thinking. Like Triple H built Shinsuke up as this unstoppable machine in NXT, and then Shinsuke goes to the main roster and gets goofed on time after time after time after time. Whether it's being paired up with, the Alex Jones version of Sami Zayn, or, it's, oh, haha, lol, Shinsuke punches someone in the dick. Haha. Like, he just got some
Talk
shit
Nakamura.
sandwiches. Man, he got some shit sandwiches on the main roster under Vince that I almost think, like, now that he's back, now that Triple H is in charge, now it's time for Triple H to do right by him and legitimately portray him as this, powerhouse like he was on NXT. And You don't do that by winning via DQ. You don't do that by losing the IC title match. Like, you do that by winning and winning the title. So I'm going to say Nakamura for 3.
You were all over the place, so I didn't know where your pick was gonna go. Tom.
I'm the man on my own island. I'm picking LA Knight for 3 points. I don't really have an eloquent reason as to why, but if I had to give something, I think maybe they'll wait until that kind of like that dead period after, like after the holidays, before the Rumble and stuff like that, leading up to the road of WrestleMania, where maybe we see a title change on live TV or whatever instead. Because obviously coming out of Survivor Series, the big fucking storyline is going to be bloodline stuff. It's going to be seeing what happens with Cody and KO, or like, how the hell is that not a match on the card is what I'm wondering. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
Amazing
that's
to
kinda
me
weird.
that Cody, and I was gonna mention this, that like Cody was defending, and we're like, well, it's not a great title run, but at least he's defending. And then it feels like he hasn't had a fucking like title defense since like July, and it's November. I'm sure that's not accurate. August, I know he probably defended, but like, it feels like it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong about that, but like the bullshit with Roman Reigns and the fucking he defended against Solo at some point in there, so it has been somewhat recent. But like, man,
I'm almost wondering, like, if WWE sees that as well. Like, Cody was our guy. He won. Everyone was behind him. Like, the heat was on him. And then he defended. And then people were kind of starting to get lukewarm on him. And they're like, oh, you know what? Let's sparse these out a bit and see if we can bring people back into, like, really getting behind Cody. Like, let's not spoil them by having Cody defending all the time, because then, it might get a little stale.
Yeah.
So maybe we pull it back a bit. I don't know. Again, spitballing. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, like there's gonna be other big main focuses coming out of Survivor Series, and I mean it's historically that lull after Survivor Series, and we don't have TLC in December anymore. So like Survivor Series is technically, unless they do day one or whatever, like how they did before it, which I don't. Was that did they do that main roster, or was that NXT? I don't even remember now.
no, that was main roster.
That was main roster. Okay, so
I think they did that like once, maybe twice.
They did it this.
But yeah,
they did it this past year, right? I feel
did
like
they? As far
Or did
as
they cancel that?
as far as announced stuff, we don't. Oh, the next thing is Saturday night's main event. That is on December 14th. And then the gap. I don't. We may or may not pick it. I don't know. We'll see.
But either way,
but that's where Cody and Kevin's going down, and that's where they're doing the tournament final for the women's United States Championship.
Yeah. So
it's basically gonna be a pay-per-view on free TV. Well, quote unquote free TV. It'll be on Peacock.
Yeah. I just don't see them doing anything yet with this changing course with LA Knight with the title yet. I don't know. It's kind of almost got the Cody effect. Like, it's there, he's got it, cool. But like to the same point of like Ransom saying about like how we thought, maybe we perceived, and I say the collective we, like, we perceived that maybe LA Knight would have had a rocket strapped to his back when Vince is out and Triple H is in. Same thing could be said for Nakamura or whatever, but like, again, how long did it take to get LA Knight there? And he's arguably got more star power than Shinsuke, at least like on the mic and stuff like that. And that's just, again,
the only thing that pushed me in that direction was like, LA Knight. He's like great on the mic, super hot personality, but like Shinsuke was always a Triple H guy, and we always said like, the Vince guys always kind of got the push, and you could see people in NXT that Triple H like was taking a vested interest in, like they were Triple H guys. That's the only thing that kind of pushed me in Shinsuke's direction. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
you make a lot of good points. Like, I'm
yeah. I mean,
not
it's
confident anymore.
It's honestly, this is really what a pick'em sort of match. That's why I put my 3 points on it, because it really could go either way, and I'm being more cautious about other couple matches. So
with the exception of, I think, the next match we're going to discuss, which should be a quick one. I think all the rest of the odds were very, very close, like within a couple 100 points. So like one might be negative 100 and one might be plus 100. So that's not a lot of gray area. So there's definitely, like, I think that this is going to be a very interesting one to watch for sure. Speaking of interesting, hopefully this is gonna be quick. Gunther, Damian Priest, Poot.
Damian Priest. Yeah. I know I know it's not. Gunther, Damian Priest. Oh, it's gonna be Gunther. Oh my God, 4 points, Gunther.
Ransom.
This, I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention to this, but like, it seems quick to me to take the title off of Gunther. Like, I know we talked about before, it's, we're not going to expect a super long run out of him, but I don't know. I would almost kind of think that it would serve Priest better if it was a Mania win, but I guess he wanted it. I don't know. Gunther for 5.
Gunther for 5. And that's the only reason why Braun Breaker didn't get a higher point value, is because I was putting my 5 on this. I don't see any logical reason to take it off Gunther at this point. Not until at least Mania, and that depends on who they line up for him at that point.
In the sports world, on game day pick'em segments, they have something that they refer to called saving the graphic. The person who picks the opposite to ensure that it will not, in fact, go the other way. Because usually it feels like if everybody picks the same, it swings the opposite way. I'm not going to save the graphic here. It's gone through 5 points. I love Damian Priest. I love Damian Priest. I do. If this was Punk, absolutely, a Punk would be winning. If it was Seth, absolutely Seth would be winning. But I don't think the path for Damian Priest is as gilded as some of those other folks, so I don't have faith that they really know they have a long-term plan with Priest. So I'm taking Gunther 5 points. The women's War Games match, Bianca and friends. I guess it would be Rhea Ripley and friends at this point, because nobody upstages Rhea Ripley. Versus Liv and her merry band of debutantes. Ransom.
Was Jade in this match or got taken out?
Yeah, she's legit hurt. This isn't like a call that, like, she's not where we want her to be. No, she's like legit hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Who
was it? Her shoulder?
Bailey.
Okay.
I think shoulder or arm or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2 points on Team Ripley.
Believe it or not. Tom.
I've also got 2 points on Team Rhea. It's one of those things where Liv's kind of been getting one over on Rhea for a little while now, like when it's actually counted, like in the title match and stuff. Like, yeah, they had that mixed tag match a while back. I can't remember, was that SummerSlam or whatever pay-per-view, where Rhea and Damian came out on top. But since then, Rhea still hasn't won the title. And I just think this is one of those cases where there's nothing on the line specifically, so it makes sense to have the faces go over. And we can still keep Liv looking strong, because because she's a good enough heel to do that. So, Team Rhea, 2 points.
Yeah, faces 3 points. I meant to do some research, but I didn't. But I think that the women's face team has gone over the majority of the War Games matches. Again, I don't know that I can like put that quantitatively, but like I feel like that's the case. And again, same thing here. I think that Rhea Ripley is one of your biggest stars on the roster. Period. Man, woman, whatever. So like I feel like they absolutely have to get her some traction here.
Mhm.
Absolutely I am taking the faces 3 points. Also in the last 2 years, which I think are the only two that they've or the last 3 years rather. Anyway, it's the women have won. The face women have won. So yeah. Even dating back to like 2021 when it was Raw versus SmackDown, just a standard elimination. Bianca and friends had won at that point.
I'm
Um,
just proud of you. You made it to the end of that sentence, man. There were a lot of bumps in that road.
there were some Baroque clauses and dependencies. I'll give you that. Poot, who you picking here?
Oh, for God's sake. 3 points on Team Ripley.
Well, so put some money on the heels. Finally, we have the men's War Games. Roman and friends versus Solo and friends. I
Look,
believe
wait.
we're back. Yeah.
Before we start into this, like I've got to get some questions answered.
Oh boy.
So again, we're not. This isn't for money, all right? So don't answer me with some bullshit and try to throw me off, all right? It's not. It's calm down. I look at this and I've thought more about this match than I have about any other pick in the last like decade. Everything to me points towards Team Roman because the Usos got back together. Sami Zayn came back to them. They're all on the same page. CM Punk is now in the mix. Paul Heyman is back. Like everything just kind of at face value is like, good Lord, OG Bloodline, all of it. Look, but I get concerned because you still have Dwayne the Pretend Belt Johnson in the background. Like, is this where he shows up and burns the bridge with Roman, and that's setting up into Mania? Is it too soon for The Rock to come back? Like, he or is Paul Heyman treacherous? Like, there
So on
are
that
those
promo,
little things.
on that promo, did you notice that Paul Heyman was dressed exactly like Solo was at one
Mhm.
point,
Yep.
and 2, there was a wink to Jimmy Uso.
I didn't see the wink to Jimmy, but
No.
Yeah.
but even
That
more
was-
so, but
He
even
was on the apron. There was a wink to Jimmy Uso specifically.
see even more so the fact that Paul was dressed up looking like Solo Sikoa normally, how he is. There's the whole thing of like the Roman not being able to get a hold of Paul, like the number was disconnected, sort of thing or whatever. Plus, I think you can't discount the possibility of Seth Rollins somehow getting involved in this match, whether he goes after Bronson, or he does that and gets into the middle of things with Punk, or if he attacks Punk or whatever. Somehow there's going to be some fuckery going down, regardless. So,
Like I just, if there's no Paul Heyman treachery, and there's no The Rock treachery, and there's no like Seth, attacking Punk. Like if it's just straight out War Games, I have such a hard time seeing Bloodline 2.0 going over. So, like, again, like on the face of it, it's like, okay, well, this is, Roman, the OG Bloodline, they finally, like, they get theirs. 2.0 gets their comeuppance. But, it just seems like there's too many things lurking in the shadows, and it gives me an uneasy
hard time
feeling.
with it.
Do you think do you think this is where they set up Roman and Rock? Do you think it's too soon? Because, like, you still have, the rest of November through Mania?
Yeah, but The
Rock isn't going to wrestle Roman at freaking Rumble.
No, but they can build that story.
Remember, my stance the last few years has been that, the Christmas creep, comes sooner and sooner every year. The WrestleMania creep, the road to WrestleMania starts sooner and sooner every year. And again, as I said it last year, I'll say it again this year. I think that the road to WrestleMania begins at Survivor Series. So I think that you start getting that your main stuff set at this point. Obviously, there's room for the undercard to come along at a different pace, but your main event stuff, I think you start setting that up now. So we're gonna get more of an idea of who's where and why.
And don't forget the fact that the WWE at one point literally did a whole year-long angle between Cena and The Rock. So, I mean, it's not unheard of, especially since we have some history and we have something substantial to really dive into. You can set the table for Rock and Roman at Mania or whatever, but obviously he's going to have to run the gamut of things. Like, he's going to have to go through Solo. He's going to have to go through Jacob Fatu. Things like that. So I don't think it's too early to start kind of pushing that when they've kind of already been leaning that way for a little bit now. They've already kind of had it as like Rock versus, it was either going to, be like Rock versus Cody, which that could still be thrown into the mix at some point. You could have a triple threat, Rock, Roman, Cody, because it would all make sense because they're all intertwined to some degree. But I don't think it's too early to start worrying about Rock creeping in the shadows. I think we might actually get an appearance from him here at Survivor Series. I mean, hell.
Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
That's my next question. Like, do you think Rock shows up at Survivor Series and costs Team Roman?
If he doesn't cost, if he doesn't cost them, he shows up at the end and makes his
I don't think he'll probably do that like he did before, where he walked out and went one, counted or whatever he did.
Okay, but
let me talk.
Okay.
With this, I think if anything, and this is just something I'm considering, much like with the Paul Heyman thing, I think it's going to be Paul Heyman machinations. I think it's going to be centered around that. I think that will be
so less a Rock intrusion and more of a Paul Heyman intrusion.
Yes, because not that The Rock wouldn't be there or whatever. I just think it's going to be something far more nefarious. I think it's going to be, something not that obvious. And yeah, I think it's going to be something with that. And Paul Heyman goes heel, because face Paul Heyman's great. Heel Paul Heyman is legendary.
I don't understand why we're thinking that The Rock might do the thing that he's already done once. Like, what would be the point? Who wins in that scenario? I don't know. It's dumb. I think that The Rock absolutely gets involved here somehow, some way.
Do you think it's more likely that The Rock gets involved or Paul Heyman turns on Roman?
Paul Heyman turns on Roman.
Oh, that's more likely than The Rock?
Yeah. I would be surprised if we see The Rock at Survivor. I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like, especially with what he did at Bad Blood, where he came out and then he left. Like, okay, like why would he do that again? It just makes
So
no sense to me.
I
Why
think
they do that twice in a row?
I think they'll build on that a little bit. I don't. So I'm gonna lead this into my pick. I'm because I know I'm first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm picking Team Solo for my 1-pointer. I think what's gonna happen is there's gonna be some chicanery. Possibly Paul Heyman turning on Roman, whatever. Seth possibly getting involved and accidentally costing the face team or whatever. But there's going to be chicanery regardless. I think Solo's bloodline is going to be beating the shit out of Roman. Rock's going to come down and try to make it look like he's there to help Roman or whatever, and then you're going to get the quote unquote big reveal that he's the one pulling the strings with Solo and Bloodline 2.0. So I don't think he directly costs I don't think he directly costs Roman's team, but I think his presence is going to be definitely made very clear, more so than what it was at Bad Blood. But I do think we get an appearance from him. I don't know that he's going to get super physically involved, but he's going to get involved somehow, some way. So Team Solo, 1 point.
It was a very good job of bringing it all back to the picks, Tom. I love it. I love it. I love you, Solo. 1 point. I mean, you can't pick against Jacob Fatu, right? Honestly, though, for much of the reasons that we kind of discussed there, I think that Paul Heyman is a devious man. I think that Paul Heyman, for whatever reason, Paul Heyman reasons, is going to turn on Roman, probably with Jimmy, and
Oh,
yeah, it's going to be, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's like some fuckery with Punk and Rollins, and I think the whole thing might end up in a little bit of a Donnybrook, a la the ending of Full Gear. Probably not that overbooked, but like all things considered, I think it's going to be it has a potential to kind of go off and be a little bit crazy. But regardless of how it ends, the actual match, I am picking Solo, the New Bloodline for nope, 1 point. Poot?
Solo, 1 point. Team Solo, 1 point. I just, something feels weird.
mhm.
And that's the cool thing about, like, when you get someone like Paul Heyman involved, when you have a looming sort of Damocles, like The Rock, like when you have, Jimmy Uso, like, it's like, okay, well, so let's see what's going on. Like, I just feel like this would be more interesting, I think, is the answer that I'm saying, other than just yay woo yay, faces win. Now the heels have to like walk away going, I'll get you next time. Like, yeah.
Vibes are off, as they say. For those keeping score at home, by the way, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn are both 2-0 in 4 games on the main roster. So keep that in your holster. Ransom, what you got?
I'm gonna go Solo for one. I think there's too much. There's too much out there. There's too many shadows swirling about. I'm almost kind of wondering if like the route they go is Paul and Jimmy turn on Roman and OG Bloodline, and like their rationale is, we were here for you, Roman, after Mania, and you left us behind. You left us to Solo, and he took over, and he took me out, Jimmy, and then he tormented Paul, and like I stayed loyal to you. Where were you? Like, I'm not doing this, for Solo. I'm doing this because you left us. You left us, and look what happened to us. kind of deal. I don't know if that's the route they'll go, but like it would make sense to me.
Yeah, that feels good.
There's one other thing, and I know we don't have time to get into it now, but I wonder if it'll play out of the whole like when before Roman made that phone call, like Sammy was in there with them, and he kind of like discreetly like dropped the phone on the couch or something. Like there's some sort of thread to be pulled at there. I don't know what. I don't know how this is gonna go down, but I'm waiting. It's interesting. It's intriguing to say the least.
The cool thing is we get to look at that granular stuff and go, what does that mean? That means they're doing a good job of storytelling.
Fuck yeah.
And what's really neat is that, like, as opposed to just like a straight like now I'm a good guy redemption arc, we're seeing Roman come face to face with like the ghost of what he's wrought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
Because he
like,
hasn't
this is his
changed yet.
comeuppance.
He hasn't changed yet.
he has not
He
changed.
hasn't.
He is the same.
Yeah, he hasn't apologized.
Exactly.
Like he hasn't apologized and said, I was an asshole for doing this or whatever. Like he's still the same guy that he was when he left. It's just that he's.
Ooh, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like
And-
so.
Well, I mean, Ransom, you made me think of that. Like, having Paul being like, "You left us," having Jimmy be like, "You left us." Like Roman still has to pay for his crimes
Mhm.
before he can learn from them, and then grow up and be the bigger person.
And re-earn,
Yeah.
Will it go down?
re-earn that tribal chief spot.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. But all that being said, it'll be a fun night Saturday. I think it'll be a lot of fun, a good event, and I hope everybody out there enjoys it. Speaking of enjoying, we got some Among Us to do because it's a holiday week and I'm hepped up on holiday vibes. Oh, by the way, fun. This is a little bit of a tease for you guys. We
Oh.
actually got an email for a Stump the Chumps from a different viewer altogether, who is not somebody that at least that I think that we know personally. It may just be a random viewer.
What?
So,
Shut up.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
no way.
Unless
Poot.
unless it's another one of you guys fucking having a damn pseudonym out there, you bastards.
It's
I
not
don't
me
know
this
who
time.
would do that.
Okay.
Poot.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Dude, I've been too busy with last week falling apart and then trying to rebuild, okay?
That's fair. But it's Pero3113. So maybe Poot is knows more than he's letting on. But all that being said, it's a new name, it's a fresh face. So it's a stay tuned. There's your little snippet. I don't know when our next fucking show is gonna be because it's fucking the holiday season. But stay tuned. Maybe you'll hear. Poot, do the thing.
We have things down in the description. This has been half of an episode for me, all of an episode for the rest of them. Go look at Positron on Steam. It's neat. And Tiger Bomb Tom, Ransom, Beef, and Poot. We're the four best friends that anyone could have. We're the four best friends that anyone could have. Stay safe.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Wash your balls.
You ruined it.